Hey everybody, it's Galmadex and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today we're going to be playing another quick draft of Outlaws of Thunder Junction, Magic the Gathering's Western set. Without further ado, let's get into this flashback draft. This is a fun pack, but honestly I think the best card's probably just Trained Erranks here. I think the green-white mounts deck is really powerful and we haven't gotten to play that at all this flashback trip season yet. So it would be nice to get back on that archetype. The Erranks is really, really absurd. Potentially a 2-mana 3/1 first striker that's scrying every turn you're sending it in. Super, super nice. Getaway Glamour is also very, very reasonable, but the rares here are pretty weak. Indomitable Creativity is very, very narrow and very, very random for draft. You can build some really fun constructed decks out of this card, but it's not going to pop off in draft. Magda the Horde Master is cool, but so small and fiddly that she's basically always going to die before you get enough treasures to make the dragon. So not quite as exciting as she looks. I think the Erranks is probably more consistent in general. I might still take Magda just for fun. I think that's a reasonable for fun pick. If you're just trying to win, though, I do highly recommend the green-white mounts deck, and the Erranks is a solid pickup for that. But yeah, these uncommons are all reasonable. I think it wouldn't be crazy to take any of these over the Erranks either. So, you know, maybe I will just take Magda. I'm probably underselling her a little bit. All of these cards I think are pretty reasonable picks. None of them are miles ahead of the rest. Let's take the Magda, actually. Changed my mind. Maybe we can do some fun crimes, get some treasures, and try to make some dragons off of all the crimes we're committing. Pick number 2 is a very unexciting, very weak pack overall. It's probably fine to just take the aggressive Coyote here. Get some damage in with that. This one's a really fun one because you can plot it, which is basically pre-casting it. You spend the 2 mana to put it in exile, and then you can play it for free on a later turn. So you do that, and then on the later turn, you cast your big creature, and then haste the big creature with this enter effect. So pretty fun. It's a nice little ally for whatever other creature you're running out. I like the Coyote. Paladin's also pretty decent. Bandit's pretty decent. The rest of the pack, not so hot. Pick number 3 now, we have Stubborn Burrow Fiend. This card is awesome for green-black self-mill and awesome for green-white mounts. There's also a Frontier Seeker, which is awesome for green-white mounts. If I just took an Erranks pick one, I would be really happy to see these two in this pack, but since I don't have one, I don't mind Scalestorm Summoner as a pretty good combo with the Cunning Coyote. You can plot the Coyote turn 2, and then you can play the Summoner, give it +1/+1 in haste, and then you have a 4-power creature, get the Dino there. So that's a fun little 2-card combo that could lead to a ridiculous amount of stats on the board in the early game. We could also take Consuming Ashes, which is an excellent removal spell, plays really well with Magda, committing crimes. This is a really juicy pack, honestly. Frontier Seeker, Consuming Ashes, and Burrow Fiend are just really powerful cards in general, and Summoner's a fun combo with a card that we've already taken. I think if we take Frontier Seeker or Burrow Fiend, we're like completely giving up on our first 2 picks, whereas Consuming Ashes is the card to go with these. Green-white mounts is a very strong deck that is worth giving up several picks for, though. I think I'm going to go for the Burrow Fiend here. I think it's the more flexible between Burrow Fiend and Seeker, where this is really good in mounts and really good in self-mill. So there's 2 great archetypes for that card. Plunder is an excellent black spell that goes into the green-black self-mill deck, or the red-black Outlaws deck, the red-black Crimes deck that Magda could fit into. So Plunder looks like a really nice way to kind of glue some of these picks together and give me some alternate directions to go. I think Plunder is kind of just the best card in the pack, too. I mean, Tyrant Scorn's pretty good, but very color restrictive. Pick 5 now. We have no more green-white mount stuff. No more green stuff in general. The black card is Raven, which isn't that good. I mean, this pack as a whole is pretty rough for everybody. Jailbreak Scheme might be the best card, just putting something back on top of its owner's library. Could take the Jailbreak Scheme, or maybe like the Mine Raider for a filler red creature, or we'll just take Conduit Pylons for flexibility. I'll grab the Pylons. Pick number 6, Mirage Mace is an even better land than Pylons, but Skewer the Critics is a reasonable red spell. I think I'm going to keep things flexible, grab that Mirage Mesa. Pick number 7. I've not been in love with the second half of these packs. I guess we grab the Courser because we're so deep on, well, because we're deeper on red than the other colors. Wow, pick 8 Beastpawn Outcaster is kind of wild. The Dance of the Tumbleweeds is pretty good too. There's some green here. Beastpawn Outcaster is very, very nice. 3 mana, 3/3, or you plot it for only 2 mana, and then when you have a 4-power greater creature on board, you cast this, draw a card. Yeah, I like the Outcaster a lot. Trained Errands was one of the best cards in this pack, and it came all the way back. You say? The Lasso came around, or the Townsfolk? The Felidar for a giant top-end mount? That's really expensive, though. I like my curve ending lower than 6 mana in the green-white mounts deck anyway. I'll speculate on the bluffs. Drover Grizzly's great in the mounts deck. 3 mana, 4 power creature. It's also just really good with the Outcaster in general. Turn 2, plot the Outcaster. Turn 3, cast Grizzly, play Outcaster. Boom. Well, I like our green a lot. I'm feeling green-white or green-black if we can get there. And open a green-white mythic. Selvala, Eager Trailblazer. 4 mana, 4/5 Vigilance. Whenever you cast a creature spell, make another 1/1, and you can tap her to get a bunch of different mana. Not a bunch of different mana. A bunch of mana based on the number of different like power among creatures you control. So like 2 or 3 mana really easily of one color. Yeah, Selvada's an absurd mythic, and if she weren't in the pack, the best card would still be a green-white card. Miriam is really, really good in the mounts decks, because then every time that you attack with your Trained Errangs, your Stubborn Burrow Fiend, your Beast Bond Outcaster, anything like that, you're putting, or not Beast Bond Outcaster, your Drover Grizzly, anything like that, you're putting a +1/+1 counter on it. So that's a really spicy pack. If we're like insanely lucky, we wheel the Miriam, but that should not be happening, and that would not happen in a player draft, but maybe it'll happen in a bot draft, who knows. Yeah, now we take a Mirage Mesa, or Steer Clear is fine in the green-white deck, because a lot of your creatures are mounts, so that could be a deal 4 for 1. And that might just be 2 colors where I don't really need the Mesa. I'll take a Steer Clear. Varmint, Keykeeper, splash in a back for more. Take a Vault Plunderer. There is a possibility we could still be like green-black splash in a Selvala, splash in the white, where back for more is going to be really strong. Plays well with the Burrow Fiend too. Take a back for more speculatively, because there's no good green or white there. Drover Grizzly's good when you care about mounts, which we do at least a little bit, even if we're green-black. Pick 5, Cacturantula is just a great beefy top-end card. Draws you cards when it gets targeted. Green is our core color here, the easiest color to just know that we can take more green cards of and be fine. Dance of the Tumbleweeds, I guess. Splash around and just be green at the core. There's another Trained Errangs, though, for the mounts. Pick 8, too. It's really nice. Miriam did not wheel, though. Tragic, but here's another Drover Grizzly. Here's nothing much. Reach for the sky. Taking a Braided Bluffs in case I open like a green-red or a white-red rare. I have 3 4-power creatures that cost only 3 mana, so Bristlepack Sentry might actually do something in this deck. We did open up a red rare to splash in. Is it good? 3 mana, 3/3 haste. Your non-token creatures can tap to create a token that's a copy of one of your tokens. I have one way to make a token right now. I have Dance of the Tumbleweeds late in the game. That's just not going to be consistent enough. I guess I could get a 1/1 token off Selvala as well, but that's still 2 cards that make a token. There's just not a lot. I like Giant Beaver a lot, and we have a lot of cards in this deck that care about mounts or power 4. This is both of those things. Okay, here's another Bristlepack Sentry, because we're doing really good at power 4 or greater cards. We're not going to hit double red for Scorching Shot. Pack 3, pick 3, another Cacturantula, another Dance of the Tumbleweeds. These are reasonable. The Paladin's good too. We really don't have anything all that powerful that we have to splash, which makes the dance slightly less exciting. I think I can go for another Cactus here. Another Giant Beaver, or there's the Frontier Seeker. Reveal a mount or a plains from among them. We have 7 mounts, and we'll have plenty of plains. Frontier Seeker looks pretty good here. We got a Miriam. Pick 5 Miriam. Wow, if we just went green, white, and stuck from it from the start, we would have been in such a good spot. Here's a Mystical Tether. That is actually the biggest flaw of our deck. We didn't actually pick up removal, but there's Shepherd of the Clouds now. We have 1 Tether and 1 Steer Clear. Try to cut this reach for the sky if we get enough playables. The Shepherd of the Clouds is absurd top end for the mounts deck, because if you have a mount on the board, 5 mana, 4/3 flying vigilance, and fully reanimate a creature from your grave, put it right back onto the board. It's really silly. Bucolic Ranch is a way to maybe get out of some flood in the late game and draw some extra mounts, so that's cool. I think I can take that over the Sterling Supplier when I got a couple cactuses at the top end as well. Bristleback Sentry copy 3. We got a lot of 4-power stuff in the deck. I'll play that over Reach for the Sky. Here's a Sterling Supplier to play over Gold Pan, maybe? Dance of the Tumbleweeds over... I don't know, we might not play that Dance of the Tumbleweeds. Another Sterling Supplier. Yeah, I don't mind topping off the curve with just some Sterling Suppliers instead. No ramp because we're just a bunch of 2, 3, 4 mana cards all in 2 different colors. This looks like a really reasonable build to me. Play the Mesa anyway. I think Conduit Pylons is fine too when we have the Cactarantulas. Don't think of Braided Bluffs though, when I don't have any red cards. Slowing myself down so that maybe my Cactarantulas are cheaper. Does not feel great. Alright, I mean the only thing we're really lacking here is removal spells, but we are just slamming creatures down, beating down, hoping for the best. Looks like a fun way to play it out. We'll call it a deck here, hop in the gameplay, and see how far this one can take us. Alright, here we are on the draw for game number 1, and we have a really nice hand here. Don't mind this at all. Frontier Seeker turn 2 to try to find a 3-mana mount, like one of our, like 3 Drover Grizzlies? If we can hit one of those, that'll be perfect. But even any of the 2-mana mounts will be reasonable. We do hit a Drover Grizzly, perfect for the curve. So play that next turn, play Miriam the turn after that. If we top deck something to play for 2 mana, the turn that we play Miriam, it's going to be an incredible curve. They Tyrant Scorn away the 2/1. So they must have more removal for the 4/2. They decided to do that instead of keeping that. And indeed they do. Desert Stew on the Drover Grizzly. Shepherd of the Cloud's going to do some great stuff for us, though. Double spell with that Shark later. We did draw the ability to double spell, play a Sentry and a Miriam in the same turn. Should I pick up the Frontier Seeker and just play more 2-for-1 cards? Yeah, they're going to keep playing 1-for-1 removal spells, so I think I just want to keep playing cards that draw me a card when they enter. Rather than, like, if I just take a 4/2 and then it dies to a Desert Stew again, that's worse than just taking Frontier Seeker and playing 2 creatures off of the Shepherd. This is unfortunate. They have a 3/4 against the 3/3 here. Could Sterling Supplier and just attack this turn, but I want to get my value. I'm a greedy man. Another Bristlepack Sentry, cool. Trained Erynx. I can play the Erynx and another Sentry again. Okay, Shepherd lives. Love to see that. I think with the Requisition Raid in hand, we go all in. If they have a board wipe, that's GG, but I don't remember a board wipe out of black outside of like a mythic rare on the bonus sheet. Oh, just flashing in a Wrangler of the Damned. This requisition rate is actually going to go really, really hard. Because their stuff is like 4 toughness or less. Let's try this planes to the bottom. They are down to 3. Seize the secrets to draw a couple cards. And there's the concession from our opponent. Incredible requisition raid there with that many creatures on the board. Going to lead us straight to victory, and we are 1-0 heading to game 2. Here we are on the play now for game 2. I don't know when we're going to get a 4-power creature for this Beast Spawn Outcaster, but other than that, I like the hand. We've got a mount to go with the Steer Clear, that'll help. Ooh. Play Erranks instead. Yeah, let's get Scrying first rather than Milling first. So now I can go Burrow Fiend and saddle up. Save the Outcaster. There's their own Erranks. I've already got 4 out of 5 mana. I don't think it's crazy to scry that away, but I do have the Sterling Supplier at 5 mana, so we'll just play towards that. Seraphic Steed is very bad. They can saddle that up. Spitting out angels and stuff. I think I need to save the Steer Clear to try to deal with that. Oh boy. If I mill 2 creatures off of Burrow Fiend, then I can Outcaster here. It's unlikely, but it's possible. I'm gonna greed it up. Oh my god, I'm the GOAT. Never didn't have it. It's actually insane how lucky that was. That could have been a reason for actually playing Burrow Fiend turn 1 instead of the Erranks, and just that way I'd have 2 opportunities to activate that before I tried to play Outcaster. I'd mill more cards and be more likely to have the 4-power creature out. Drover Grizzly. To saddle the steed. They're gonna get the angel off of it, unfortunately. Oh no, they saddle the Erranks. Okay. They're at 13 life here. I don't really care about this 3 damage to me. Requisition rate has been good before. Does not look awful here. If I use it, I can still have Steer Clear up. Feel like I'm on Supplier, though. Mill another creature for Burrow Fiend to go pretty hard. I think I still want to leave some blockers. Well, a blocker. for 10, they're down to 3. Bridled Bighorn. Saddle up the steed. Is there a 1 mana +2/+2 in the set? I guess we're about to find out, but I don't remember one. Okay. Not lethal, but it's very good. Okay, they're over it. They're conceding regardless. I can put them to 1. Put them to 1, force them to block with everybody. They have to go Angel onto the 4/5. Yeah, no, this is really good for me. Angel goes on the 4/5 and dies without trading. They can trade the 3/1 and the 4/2, but then the Bighorn also has to die somewhere. Yeah, we're killing 2 of their creatures and only losing 1 of ours and putting them to 1. That was definitely going to do it for us. That's 2-0 heading into game 3. Reasonable hand here for game 3. Definitely a keep. I'm going to go Bristlepack Sentry into Drover Grizzly, because then the Sentry can attack on turn 3, and then the second the Grizzly's ready to attack, we put the Miriam on the board as well to start putting +1/+1 counters onto it. It's a pretty good curve that we can sequence really well. And now we got a Shepherd of the Clouds for turn 5. Really nice. There's Outlaw Medic for our opponent. The Sentry's doing a good job at holding that off, kind of shutting it off here. Our opponent's on green, white, blue, and black, so just take all the fixing, take all the bombs. Which is a scary, scary archetype, because this is a set absolutely chocked full of bombs. Moderately tempted to just hold back here now that they have Apothecary, but don't mind too much if they poke us. Burrow Fiend was a really good draw because now I can be mana efficient and play 2 2-mana creatures on turn 4. Get some lifelink here, right? Yeah, lifelink Apothecary. No blocks, gain your life. What do they plot? Tumbleweed Rising. That's at least a 3/3, but if they play a big creature, it's going to be really, really big. Alright, so here's Miriam. Here's Burrow Fiend. And we don't need Trample, so we don't need to use Grizzly, so we can use Burrow Fiend instead to see if we fill our grave with stuff for it for later. We did not. We hit land. Well, still better than not using it. No creatures in my grave yet, so if they offer the Apothecary trade again, we take the trade and then shepherd it back to the board. Two Flying Haste, investigate on their second spell each turn, which is Tumbleweed Rising for a 3/3. Cool. Draw their card. They have a 3/3 up on blocks. They can trade that into the Sentry, but not the Drover Grizzly. Saval is a cool draw, but I think I'm still on Shepherd of the Clouds when we have a mount to actually get the Reanimate here. I don't think I want to put Selvala at risk, so I'm going to saddle with Selvala to fill that graveyard. Or not Selvala, Miriam. I'm getting my gold creatures mixed up. I'll hold up the 4/3 flyer against the 2/2 flyer, rather than saddling another time. Prosperity Tycoon gives him a 4/2 and a 1/1. They can sacrifice the 1/1 to give the Tycoon indestructible. Cool. I'm gonna sell Vala first now, so that when I cast the Grizzly, I also get another creature. No Miriam attack, so we'll saddle there. So these will be 5 toughness, which is definitely enough. Boom, put them down to 4 life against all this. Claim Jumper. Just a 3/3 Vigilance. If we had more lands than them, it would also pull out a land. Frontier Seeker, get a token. Interrupter. Plot our spell, which means we can't play it this turn, but we play it for free next turn. Play it for 2 next turn because it also makes it more expensive. Okay. Drover Grizzly. Got no way to give Trample. We could activate Burrow Fiend. Then... Okay, they're going to concede anyway. Could attack with all 4 of those, and they're guaranteed to take 3 damage. Yeah, they have to block the 3 biggest creatures and go down to 1, which means they don't get to kill Miriam. Yeah, they were in a really, really bad spot. That means they have to go chump, chump, chump. Excellent stuff. That is 3-0 for the Green-White Mounts deck. All right, here we are on the play for game number 4 with a really, really nice hand. It's a bunch of Mounts and a Miriam, which is pretty perfect. Kind of want to lead with Burrow Fiend because that can be a crazy amount of damage, but Eric's also scries, and we need to hit more mana, so I'm probably going for the scrying here. Deadeye Duelist, cool. Dang, yeah, missed the land, but let's go for the scries here. Find the land, have that for next turn. Pass through. Play another Erranks, hold up a Steer Clear. Sounds reasonable to me. Play it pre-combat, so even if they find a way to kill this one, I guess it's got a hexproof during our turn. Theoretically, if they could kill that one, then that would still be the 4 damage. I should have saddled with the new Erranks. I missed that. Clicked too fast. They were already down to 12. Cunning Coyote. Just a 2/2. Okay. Saddle this turn, because now I need it to get in. Fourth land, sure. Jump. Bounce everybody back. Okay. Play the Grizzly instead then to be mana efficient. I can play 2 creatures next turn. I don't think I'm using steer clear here. We'll just take the trade. But there's no reason to main phase 1 the Burrow Fiend unless I want to give trample here. I feel like it's kind of risky to do that, because then if they have a trick of their own, they can get us. By holding up the steer clear, we can counteract any little first strike trick or anything crazy they try to use. Scale Storm Summoner. Okay. Giant Beaver holding up a steer clear. Oops, not what I want to do. Let's give the Burrow Fiend the huge buff here. Just trade into the Erynxes and take 4 here, maybe? Good enough for me. Hold on to the steer clear. We've got lethal on board still. Skewer the 2/2. Beaver puts them to 1. Wrong creature again. Boom, down to 1. Roxanne is excellent, but 2 damage isn't enough to actually kill anything. And there's the concession from our opponent. That is 4-0. Positive record no matter where things go from here. All right, here we are on the draw for game number 5 with an awful hand. 2 double greens, like 5 drops, with just 1 desert that I have to filter mana through for green. Nothing to play until turn 5. Way too many things can go wrong with that hand. We will keep this one, though. I'm not going to hold on to double Bristlepack Sentry. Just Jagged Barrens to start our opponent off. Let's just Mesa for the white source. Play the Erynx first, because we don't know when we're playing a 4 power creature for the Sentry. Thunder Lasso... I do need lands, but that looks fun enough to me, especially because it'll make the Sentry a 4 power creature, so it can activate its own ability. That's always fun. When you buff the Sentry up to 4 power, it counts itself. Oh... Laughing Jasper Flint is one of those oops I win auto win cards if your opponent doesn't just have the removal for it immediately, and we only have 2 removal spells in this deck, so I think we are finally going to get punished for the biggest flaw of our deck, because that's just going to keep casting cards out of our deck every single turn. And it just casts more and more and more. Lasso's mana efficient, but I think I'm just playing another creature for now. Gone for the Scry here, but now I'm stopping 4 damage instead. Of course, Steer Clear was right on top. Oh yeah, and whatever I scry off of the Erynx is just going to get exiled by Jasper Flint anyway. So he just shuts off the Erynx scries regardless. So there goes one of our 2 outs. We have to hit the Mystical Tether. Terminal Agony on the Erynx. Rude. Okay. Well, the only thing I can really do is get lassoing. They hit another trained Erynx. It's great. They hit 2 spells in a row. Rough. Need this mana pretty badly. There's the bounce spell for the sentry. They now have 2 outlaws on the board, technically, because it turns our creatures into outlaws. Hit another spell here now with Drover Grizzly. Kill some other outlaws, I guess. And even with the counter on the sentry, just can't get into the Grizzly. And more removal. Hits another spell. All right. Well, okay, there's the tiniest chance in the world if they play really poorly. If they're completely out of removal, then we can set up a board state here where we give everybody trample with the Grizzly and then attack with a gigantic Burrow Fiend. Mill a little more, look for more creatures. We do find one. Shepherd. Pick up a Swamp. Make it 4 toughness. I don't have enough creatures to do trample and Burrow Fiend's ability. So I guess I don't do trample, I just do Burrow Fiend's ability. Make Grizzly 4 toughness. They might actually have lethal on the crackback, but they have to block somewhere here. Yeah, no, we just take 8 on the crackback. They missed. They finally completely missed with Laughing Jasper. At this point, at least we fought it out. We tried. And they do kill the Burrow Fiend. Grizzly is lethal if it gets in. That's 7 damage. So they have to block Grizzly with Jasper. Feels pretty good. Oops. Oh my god. And the trample for lethal? Oh my god, whoa. Sometimes you gotta learn lessons from yourself there. I was like, no, never scoop. I should stick this out. And even though I was saying that and thinking that, I still thought there was literally no chance we were winning that. Wow. Yeah, it turns out just the Burrow Fiend being so massive and the Miriam Grizzly combo for the extra damage, we were forcing blocks and just getting huge amounts of damage, and it was possible to turn that around. That is insane. I did not think there was any chance we get through Laughing Jasper without removal, but I guess you can do it if you've got just some beef going on. We are now 4-0 heading into game number 5. 5-0. We're 5-0. Ridiculous. All right, here we are for game 6, somehow undefeated still, with this nice little green-white mounts deck. Surveil here. Got a lot of lands, yeah. So I was going to say, if we see a land on top, we'll just get that out of here. There's an Ankle Biter to start our opponent off. I was going to play Burrow Fiend, but I don't really want to trade Burrow Fiend into the Ankle Biter, but I'm okay with trading Bristlepack Sentry into it, so we'll lead that way instead. I guess the awkward part is then we're going to put a Lasso on the Sentry and then tap the Ankle Biter and not trade. Yeah, because I have the Thunder Lasso combo, I guess I actually changed my mind. Set up a thingy for later. Irascible Wolverine, that'll draw them a card. So next turn they play the Wolverine for free, and then try to play any 4-mana or less card off of it. Or their land for turn. So Wolverine first, and it hits. Mystical Tether, perfect. A 3-mana removal spell to deal with the Sentry. Sad. They could deal with the Thunder Lasso instead, actually, which would be pretty rough. But they choose to get rid of this Sentry. Fair. So now we need to play Bucolic Ranch so that we can use that to cast the Burrow Fiend to double spell. And the Mystical Tether does not let us exile enchantments, sadly. It's only artifact or creature. Ornery Tumblewag, that's a terrifying card. Puts a +1/+1 counter on the board every single turn, and it can double those counters over and over. So I'm going to tether away the Tumblewag for sure. Which means not casting our spell here. They have 5 power on their board. We have 6, but they're attacking first. This is really aggressive, but I'm going to go for it. 1 creature in grave for Burrow Fiend. So yeah, life totals are pretty even. We're at 11, they're at 10, but they get the first swing, and that swing is for 5. Oh no, Collective Defiance is really bad there. Kill one of our creatures, shoot us in the face. Yeah, Requisition Raid's really good at least. We have to play full defense now though. Is it better to play Requisition Raid and just get a Sentry back than it is to play Supplier? At 3 life, either way is equally risky. We're just holding 2 blockers up. I guess if they don't have any more removal, then we're in a slightly better position if we play the Supplier first and then Requisition Raid and then put counters on 3 creatures, potentially. Burrow Fiend with 3 creatures in grave. Make it a 6/6, 7/7 with Lasso. Dance of the Tumbleweeds for a massive elemental token. Uh-oh. Desert to ping us to 2. We just top deck a land. I can't attack. If I attack, I'm dead to Wolverine getting through. Three creatures in grave makes that 8. If I hit 2 creatures, it would be 10. Tap that, force the block there. But then they still crack back for lethal because I have to tap Sentry to activate Burrow Fiend. Yeah, no, I need another creature to do anything here. I think this 8/8 gets us. So I'm going to have to chomp. I guess if I chump and then I top deck a creature, I win. If they have nothing in hand here. It's chump, top deck a creature, attack with a lethal Burrow Fiend, tap down their only blocker. Oh, yikes. Oh, God. Alright, there was no shot. They had their own raid to save the Tumblewag. Pretty excellent. Force the double block. Lose our entire board. And the draw is... a giant beaver, which cannot block everybody. That is game. Our first loss of the day, sadly. 5-1, heading into game number 7. All right, here we are now for game number 7. Completely unkeepable hand. Yeah, Mirage Mesa makes this work out. We've got both our colors. Get rid of the raid here probably and just run out some creatures. Ooh, don't get rid of land. Get rid of Requisition Raid. We don't have anything for turn 3, but we have our 2, 4, and 5 mana cards. Start with the Bristlepack Sentry. Playing against green, red, and white. They don't have anything to play yet, and unfortunately we missed a play for turn 3. Ramblin' Possum for our opponent. Here's Selvala now. Man, if those cards were in a different order, it would have been perfect if the Drover Grizzly was before the land. Drover Grizzly of their own. Possum would be a 4/5 if it attacks him. Not big enough for Selvala unless they have Snakeskin Veil. Sure, no blocks. I will believe you're on Snakeskin Veil. Cacturantula out. Is it possible if I play Drover Grizzly? I have a 1, a 3, and a 4. Okay, that doesn't work. If I play Sterling Supplier, then Selval's already tapped, so that doesn't work either. I can't double spell here. 6 mana. I think I want to get the Vigilant Swing in with Selvala then. Oh, I can double spell. If I play Giant Beaver, then I have 3 different power of creatures out. Then I can play the Drover Grizzly post-combat. Wow, yeah, that's really nice. The Vigilance plus the mana. There you go. That's how you do it. Cactus Folk Sure Shot. Gives their creatures trample haste every turn. They pass through. Sterling Supplier. And let's trample the board off of Drover Grizzly. I'm not sure if this is lethal, but it might be. And that's a concession from the opponent anyway. So that's going to be 6-1 now. We're now heading into the final battle of this draft with 2 shots. 2 rounds of the chamber to get a 7-win run today. All right, here we are for what could be the final boss here. If we win this game, we are out of here with a 7-win run. But we've got another shot if things go wrong. Pretty happy with this hand. A little slow. It's a lot of 5-mana stuff, but we can sit behind our Sentry and a Mystical Tether to stay alive until then, and then we just have an insane amount of flyers. Playing against green-red here. They're starting with the Wolverine to draw an extra card soon. These Sentries are going to get real excited as soon as there's a 4-power creature on this board. There's the Wolverine. Draws them a land, the Arid Archway. That's going to make them pick up a land and just be colorless. Plot something, drop the Archway. It's another Wolverine to draw another card. Draw the Beast Bond Outcaster. Wow, this hand really wants a 4-power creature down. Plot that, and if we don't top deck a land next turn, I'm going to lose it. That would be pretty bad. I think we started with a 4-land hand, so that would mean we didn't draw a land any single turn. Come on, top deck. We might have started with a 3-lander and drew another 5-drop. That's possible. Give me a basic. Okay, not a basic, but it works. I have a lot of creatures up, but I'm not going to have anything to blow up with that. I don't think it's a great draw, but it's fine. I think I'm going to keep it. Yeah, no, I'm going to have a lot of creatures here. Zero mounts still for Shepherd of the Clouds, though. Savagely smash my flyer. Very rude. One of the things that's really gross and really scary about Burrow Fiend is they can saddle it over and over and over. Fill that grave a bunch if they want to get huge damage, but they're going to go for the Courser instead to draw a card here. Draw an Annie joins up they can cast next turn. It's a removal spell that also doubles all of their legendary cards triggering. This is awkward. You're not a Mount Bristlepack Sentry. Just have a bunch of 4 toughness cards up again. I'm going to supplier a counter onto the Outcaster here, and then I have 2 4 toughness cards up to block the 2 3-power creatures. The Annie joins up the supplier, I guess. Yep. I guess I can blow that up with Requisition Raid, but it doesn't exactly do anything yet. When they don't have any legends on the board anyway. Wow, that was really lucky, Mills. If they only milled 1 card, that still would have been a 4-4, and I could just trade here. But they hit 2 creatures out of the top 2. Drew over Grizzlies the draw. Doesn't feel crazy to tether this Burrow Fiend now that it's like a 5-5 or more. For monumentally lucky, they play a big artifact creature. That's not an artifact creature. Alright, they play just some random stuff, for sure. Keck Tarantula. That ankle biter's rude. They have 9 power on the board, which means if I attack with both of these and they have 1 removal spell, we die. I could attack with one of them. Really tempted to set up this Drover Grizzly, but it's not a very good blocker. But then I have a mount up for Shepherd, and I can try to give Trample on a future turn. I think I just send in Sentry and play Cactarantula. If we draw a land, we can play Grizzly and Raid in the same turn. And blow up an enchantment with Raid. Jolene is the legend for the Annie joins up to double triggers. They get double treasure. Sack those treasures to deal damage to any targets. Gross. Yeah, I would really like to shut that off. So hopefully we top deck a land here. Perfect. Okay. So I can play Grizzly and I can Requisition Raid. Blowing up Annie joins up. Now I've got the mount on the board for when I cast Shepherd of the Clouds to reanimate somebody. Skewer the Face is rough. This Flying Vigilance is going to do a lot of heavy lifting if this game continues to go on. Being able to attack it and still hold up all the blockers is a huge deal. Really excellent work from Shepherd of the Clouds, drawing us another card too. Oh no, tell me they don't have double Skewer the Critics here. Just do another 3 to me. Cunning Coyote, oh lord. That puts me to 1, and then Jolene finishes me with the treasure token. Wow. Close game. That's kind of insane. They actually won because of the Annie joins up doubling a legendary trigger. They would have had 1 less treasure and dealt 1 less damage this game without that. GG. 6-2, heading into game number 9. All right, here we are for the final game of Magic today. This is the final boss, whether we win or lose, our last game. We got a really nice opening hand. It's got a couple really cheap creatures to play. And the Steer Clear as well for early removal. Probably should have actually maced it on white so that I could set up to play an Eric's and hold up a Steer Clear in the same turn. I did it on green because naturally like I have the double green card in hand, but more important earlier to hit double white with this hand the way it looks right now. I actually don't mind playing another Eric's first. Waiting to cast Miriam until I have 2 mounts both getting buffed. Wow, Burrow Fiend, let's go. So I can play Burrow Fiend and Miriam next turn. Could also just cast Selvala. Bristlebill as a 3/3. I think even better than Selvala is just starting to steamroll them. Boom, boom. If they block, we Steer Clear. If they don't, we Burrow Fiend. Boom, boom. Down to 9. Here's Burrow Fiend. Activate that one. so it's bigger on future swings. There's Outcaster Greenblade. Picks up a forest. Plains was a good draw. We can cast Selvala and have Steer clear up. Cast Selvala pre-combat for the Burrow Fiend buff. Maximize our damage. Yeet. That is 9 damage on board. Okay. I was gonna say, if you have a lethal on board and there's no interaction for it, you just wait till they try to cast something. It's like, sure, I could try to save Miriam right now, but if they're okay with taking 9 and going to 0, let it happen. And it did happen. That is a 7-win run, a full trophy run with the green-white mounts deck. This deck is just really, really, really solid. I was thinking about forcing it from the start since we didn't get to draft it yet, and I'm not glad that I didn't, but it worked out perfectly fine that I didn't, because we still ended up in there later, getting past some really good stuff for it regardless. But if I were forcing it like right from the get-go, maybe we would have cut some of the bots out of it and ended up with like both of the Miriams that we saw in the draft pod, some more mount-style creatures instead of the sentries and stuff, but this was a sweet, sweet deck. The biggest issue was the lack of removal that almost got us killed one of those games. Just having a Steer clear and a Mystical Tether, but we still managed to win against the Laughing Jasper deck, which was insane. Yeah, this was great stuff. Even the Bristlepack Sentries, even the really filler stuff, we had a lot of ways to work with them. Raid puts counters on them. Lasso gives them +1/+1. We had a bunch of 4-power creatures starting at only 3 mana. We also had double Sterling Supplier that can put a counter on them so that they're 4 power. So lots of reasonable cute little combos in this deck like that, to make even our mediocre cards like Bristlepack Sentry perfectly reasonable, to get the deck really functioning and getting a lot of wins for us today. So excellent, excellent stuff. Maximum prize out, 950 gems and 2 packs of Outlaws of Thunder Junction. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.